So welcome everybody to our press event for our Ryzen PRO launch. It's really great to have you here. We've got some special guests. We promised them a nice sunny summer's day in Sydney, but we delivered a cool day and rain. So I'd like to welcome them. So I'm Jim Haikalis. I'm the country manager for enterprise and commercial for AMD. Also in the room we've got Mr. Jason Mooneyham. He's our corporate vice president for commercial and enterprise business worldwide. And Mr. John Hampton, who's our director of corporate and enterprise business development. So Jason will be talking briefly on our commercial business, commercial momentum that we have on a global basis. John will be going into a bit more detail about Ryzen PRO, what it means for this market and what it means for customers and end users. So I've been on board just over a year. AMD in Australia has done very, very well. So we're obviously a lot smaller than our competitor, but we've got strong share and a very strong brand presence. You're probably familiar with that. In the commercial space, we see a huge opportunity. So on a global basis, AMD is pushing hard in the commercial space. It's a huge opportunity for us, hence my appointment. So in the past year, I've been building some great relationships directly with end users, with governments, with enterprise, with education. And we've already had some wins, and we're already on some panels to win more business. We're poised to win a lot of business this year, so we're very excited about the opportunity. I'll hand over to the gents in a moment. We also have a team of people from AMD from APAC. So these gentlemen are from the USA, Texas. We've got the guys who look after government affairs, and we also have the devices on demo, and there'll be some time afterwards for a bit of networking. So please reach out, ask questions. Really glad to have you on board, and I hope you have a nice time this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, welcome. My first time in Sydney. Thank you for welcoming me to your beautiful city. The weather is not today, but I've already seen quite a bit of it this morning. As Jim mentioned, I'm responsible for our commercial business worldwide. That's the largest enterprise users, corporate, public sector, all the way down into SMB, any business user, basically. And I came to AMD a year ago, really on the promise that the suite of offerings we were going to have for commercial was about to be better than we've ever seen before. What customers will want to see from AMD that we're about to have, and what a year it's been. And I'll take you through some of the announcements that we've had. But I think Alex just said at the table, competition is magic. We hear our customers say that to us, our channel partners, and certainly our OEMs as well. And while the commercial PC market itself isn't growing as fast as anybody'd like to see, and certainly not as fast as it has in the past, what customers demand from the units that they're refreshing with is certainly evolving. A lot more digital content, a lot more video, whether that's being created or consumed. And we can take real advantage of that as the only company that offers both CPU and GPU. So we've got a lot of excitement there. Certainly the evolution of data centers, with cloud computing and a lot of the demands that are put on that, GPU in the data center as well. We're in a very unique position to capture some of that market. In spite of what the commercial PC market is doing, we're certainly growing much faster than the industry itself. Gain market share in desktop. I think you've seen a lot of the component channel introductions with Ryzen so far. In those markets, you've seen AMD capture 40 to 50% share, including where we are today. We expect to see many of the same transitions with the Pro products that we've introduced and that we're here to talk to you about today as well. We've improved our profitability, and I think it's very safe to say, and it doesn't take any rocket science to know that if we can penetrate the data center to anywhere close to the levels that we enjoyed 10 years ago when we were a quarter of the market, that will obviously boost our profitability. So being able to have some of these products in market is great. Also having a performance leader in terms of commercial desktop certainly lends itself to having an expanded portfolio that can help our overall company profitability as well. And of course the market has responded to that as well. Seeing a lot of the potential that that AMD has and the promise of some of these products, and now seeing them launch has certainly led to some market cap advantages for us there as well. And you can see that nice little trend there for our stockholders, over the last 24 months. So this is kind of the key. This is kind of why we're here today. In a really good year for AMD, typically you would see one product announced. Develop it over many years, bring it to the market, and it may even be just a refresh of something that was already there. For the first time ever, not only did we announce one, but we've announced three. So we brought back EPYC for the data center, which we're not going to spend too much time on today, but John's going to get into it a little bit. We launched our new Radeon Pro and Vega graphics lineup, which puts us, in industry leadership position from a graphics performance standpoint. And then, of course, what we're mainly here to focus on today, which is the Ryzen on it. So not only did we have Ryzen in desktop, for consumer, we've got now Ryzen Pro for commercial. And as we've already announced, we will have Ryzen Pro for mobile coming early next year as well. So getting back to when you're talking about server from the data center with the most critical applications that our customers are leaning on us for, when you're talking about graphics and rendering and professional workstation performance, you're talking about desktop, you're talking about laptop, you're talking about thin client, we now have performance leadership across the board, and an OEM team that has responded. In our commercial launch in New York at the end of August for our Ryzen Pro, for the first time in AMD's history, had Dell, HP, and Lenovo all on stage with us to launch products. So the OEM partners are seeing this as well. So here's the momentum. This is the key. I mean, if the customers don't want what we're bringing to the market, then obviously we're going to fail. But what we've seen is a tremendous response to what we've launched. And just to give you guys an idea, and while the PlayStation and Xbox aren't in the commercial realm, it is important to know that AMD has 100% APU share in those product lines. And as I mentioned, the four largest OEM partners all launching products with Ryzen Pro, which is obviously very important to our end users who may have a contract with one of these that's rather exclusive. We just let the customer this morning that it's dual source. They dual source their leasing, they dual source their desktops, they dual source their notebooks, and now they're like, all right, we get to dual source our processor and insert some competition in there as well. So that's what we're here to do, provide a customer choice, but not choice that comes with compromise. This is choice that comes with true performance and the ability to deliver price performance as well. And then you can see some of the large customers from around the world, some of which have been early testers of Ryzen Pro. Heineken was even on stage with us in New York, talking about their early experience, with the products that you see in the back of the room there as well. So that's why we're here. to deliver to the customers, to make sure that we have a value proposition that is no longer one that just means a cheaper device, frankly, but that delivers on ROI, delivers performance where you need it most, and industry leadership around security and reliability, which John will get into now. So to talk about how this market is evolving, to talk a little bit about what we're seeing from a usage model standpoint, from application development, and all the unique usage cases around the world as we see this industry really migrate how we make our users more productive. Let me introduce John Hampton to take you through why you care about Ryzen PRO. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you, Jason, and again, thank you for all of you for coming today. I know some of you have actually traveled a good ways to be here, and as Jason said, I want you to walk away with a much better understanding of what this really means for the market. If you, as a professional or commercial entity, how this will truly change that usage experience, how it will completely change the landscape with this new competitive alternative. So let me start again by re-emphasizing what Jason said. This truly is a new era for AMD. It's an inflection point. Why does this matter? When we look at the Australian market, to Jim's point, this is a market that's educated with intelligent buyers and very much a premium market. And with this new Zen architecture, we now have a fleet of new products that will compete and win against the very best our competition has to offer. And frankly, that's an area that we knew we had to get better in. And so when we look at markets around the world, we believe first and foremost that Australia is a market that can take advantage of this inflection point. It truly is a brand new architecture from every facet. So we understand, if you look at AMD's history, there could be various perceptions on AMD, our capabilities. I would like to ask you for just a moment to set those perceptions aside, simply because every aspect of this is new and different and better. So when we look at the architecture itself, the new multi-threading, the new cache, every aspect of this is new and gives us really a clean slate to go compete in all four of these areas, ranging from consumer back to the data center to the commercial space, which we're going to focus on today, as well as our professional graphics line. When we look at Ryzen PRO, this is what I'll spend the bulk of my time on. These are the three pillars that we want to emphasize: powerful, secure, and reliable. Starting with this powerful theme that we have, I just want to give you a bit of a taste of this, but again, more importantly, help you understand what this means for modern and future commercial workloads. We actually set our sights to deliver 40% better product in one generation. That had never been done. We looked at our history, we looked at our competitors' history. It never once had, in one generation, a company improved that much. We actually, as you can see, exceeded that target, and we're very happy to just share that with you. Over the last 4 years and over 2 million engineering hours in the making have delivered up to 62% better multi-threaded performance than our competition, and 52% better in one generation, which is astounding what we've achieved there. So we actually were just talking about this here at the table, but AMD has taken a leadership position in terms of adding more cores and threads. We see our competition responding to that. What does that mean? That will absolutely deliver better multitasking than we've ever seen before, and it opens up areas of commercial usage, breaking down today's bottlenecks, simply because this new architecture combined with more cores and threads will truly change that performance landscape. We're adding a lot of new features as well. We could spend a little bit of time talking about them. SenseMI really is this very dynamic, intelligent design that we've created, and we'll talk a little bit more about it as we go. I think that it's also important to understand here, when we talk about how powerful this is, we think that it's also important to note that it isn't just the power that we've improved on. It's equally as important that we're reducing the power. And this is, frankly, an area that we knew we had to really emphasize as a company. And so, in parallel to improving the performance, we've dramatically reduce the amount of power that it consumes. And as you can see here, when we look at a total performance per watt improvement generationally, you can see the breakdown of how we've done it. It truly is astounding, the performance per watt capabilities of Ryzen. The same is true for EPYC. And what you'll see when we get to Ryzen PRO Mobile, which I'll spend a moment on, that will directly translate to dramatically improved battery life as well. I think that, again, it's very important to understand how do we stack up, how do we position our products. When we set out on this goal, our goal was that we could deliver Ryzen 7, 5, and 3 versus Core i7, 5, and 3. As I mentioned, we exceeded all of our goals. And frankly, that positioning, while it's very consistent and easy to understand, what I'm showing you here is that we're actually exceeding those positioning targets. And frankly, our Ryzen 3 products have been competing quite well with Core i5. Ryzen 5 Pro competing frankly with Core i7, and what I'll show you here in a moment is that our best versus their best, we are in fact winning. Just to jump right to it, we've taken the most common third-party benchmarks available in the market today and tested them in our lab. And frankly, our OEM partners have now validated these claims. It's very important that when you look at the absolute best that our competition has to offer, this is a new i7 7700 versus our Ryzen 7 Pro 1700. We're winning really across the board. Frankly, just to clarify one thing, we're even showing you what we believe to be a very biased benchmark in Sysmark. It's unfortunate, it's often misused. It's frankly only optimized for our competition. They actually have to provide a Federal Trade Commission disclaimer every time they use it, saying that it's only optimized for Intel. But as you can see here, even on a very biased Intel benchmark, we're still competing very well, which says a whole lot about these product capabilities. But more importantly, for very objective third-party benchmarks, you can see that we have some significant wins. It's been a little while in the market where you could see 33% wins or more. In Cinebench multi-thread, you can see, frankly, we're crushing the best our competition has to offer. And again, even when we take a Ryzen 5 Pro versus a Core i7, we're still seeing a lot of wins. It's very compelling. And again, when you have a customer that's looking to save a significant amount or reinvest savings into their solutions, we're showing you here that, wow, we can actually compete even with a Ryzen 5 Pro. And again, complete this story here, Ryzen 3 Pro, as you can see, does very well against the meat of the market in Core i5. Same core and thread count, same results, AMD's winning at every price point. I think that it's also important, again, what does this mean for applications? So we've taken some common power user workloads, modern workloads, in this case, just comparing them 7, 7, 5, 5, and 3, 3. Something like video creation or 3D rendering. We actually get it asked a whole lot, how do you perform on heavy Excel workloads? It still matters to a lot of end users out there. And clearly we're showing significant wins in all of these commercial workloads. These are application-based tests that we've done. They're saying the same thing as the benchmarks. AMD is winning. But I want to transition now into really why we're here today, and the invitation that we gave to you is really focused on what does this mean for the future? How is it going to change the commercial usage in the market today and moving forward? And so we've done quite a bit of research on this and talked with our customers, and essentially that's what Jason and I do on a daily basis around the world. And what we've seen is this shift in the new, what we're calling the new mainstream users and the new power users. In the mainstream now, we're actually now talking about VR consumption in commercial. Certainly a lot of data analysis, office productivity, increased in multitasking and collaboration. This is what they're doing now. They're doing much more than they did even just a couple of years ago. And what's really exciting is opening up new kinds of experiences, new kinds of usage for the power users in the market. And again, we talked to all kinds of folks here in the Australia market. They are demanding these kinds of experience with premium content creation, scientific applications, things like machine learning, things like premium VR. This was just a vision a couple of years ago. This is now what they want here and now, and it's very exciting that AMD is delivering on these kinds of experiences today, and we will absolutely change the landscape of technology moving forward. These are just a few of the areas of innovation that I'll touch on, and then I want to kind of come back to what Ryzen PRO specifically is doing to improve the modern commercial usage in the market. Virtual reality I'm going to talk about more in a moment, but we fundamentally believe this is going to be one of the primary ways that commercial experiences and user interface will change in the future. And very exciting, we now have Ryzen PRO based solutions that are commercial VR ready today. This is an area that AMD's invested in heavily, and I'll show you here in a moment. We're actually leading the market in virtual reality. This is not necessarily just a gaming and entertainment experience. It's definitely going to change and improve many different commercial verticals, commercial usage experiences. Same is true for augmented reality. You're going to see an increase in AR in the market, and AMD is very much trying to drive this again beyond entertainment to improve the way commercial and users interact today. I'm not sure if you all have heard this, but we're actually very much now focused on machine intelligence and deeper learning. We just launched a new line of Radeon products known as Radeon Instinct. These Radeon Instincts are very much driving machine intelligence in the next generation of technology. Picture things like autonomous vehicles and nanobots, things of that nature that, again, almost sound like a far-fetched vision. We're driving those kind of collaborations today. We've already had major announcements from partners like Google and Alibaba that are taking advantage of new Radeon Instinct products and paving the way for the next generation of commercial usage. Specifically wanted to just mention VR. This is one we're very passionate about and one where we're showing leadership. Many of you don't realize we just shared this with a couple of you. We did some research of the head-mounted displays of VR today in the market. AMD actually represents 83% of that VR, which is astounding, the leadership that we've shown there. And very excited to announce that HP, in their new HP EliteDesk 705 G3, is promoting that as commercial VR ready today. We have a number of end users that are evaluating those VR capabilities. And I mentioned some of the specific industries that are going to be able to take advantage of this. We talked to higher education. This will change the face of learning. This will change the face of education. Certainly, we believe Australia could be one of the markets to be the early adopters. No question, things like design, visualization, journalism, healthcare, and medicine, these are all areas that can greatly benefit from commercial virtual reality. And AMD, with our partners like HP, are delivering on that here today. As I mentioned, this new architecture and with more cores and threads, we believe that fundamentally we are breaking today's bottlenecks. What we did is we grabbed some quotes here. You may not be able to read them, but what you're going to see is a trend with these power users, whether it's Adobe video encoding, transcoding, or someone from CG Architect saying that it basically takes 45 minutes per frame to do 3D rendering still. We have a quote here talking about machine learning. Talks of hours of waiting. They're bottlenecked today. They need more. They demand more horsepower. And this is exactly the kind of conversation that we have on a daily basis right here in Australia. They're all saying the same things. We need more. And that's exactly what Ryzen is delivering. What I want to show you here is two different scenarios. The first is when we take a high-end Adobe Pro video creation. This is transcoding a 4K video file in a 720p 30 HD. And what we're showing is because of the new architecture, we have head-to-head a win of 31%. That's huge. That translates to so much better productivity for these end users that have been bottlenecked without having these kind of capabilities. You're professionals in the market today. This is meaningful. This is newsworthy. This is one of the reasons we invited you here today, is to help us get this message out. The action here is try it out. Go evaluate Ryzen PRO. see it for yourself in your environment. This is changing and improving modern commercial workloads. But there's a second scenario, which is if we take just a portion of these 10 of the 16 threads available, you can see we're still beating our competition head to head, 6% faster in this case. But what we've done is we've freed up 6 threads. That's huge. That's like basically offering you an additional Core i5. That will allow you to then go on to your next task. This is what opens the door for advanced multitasking. We have a major advantage. I showed you a 62% advantage. That gets put into action here. This is exactly what end users have been waiting for. Frankly, what we see now is our competition playing a little bit of catch up on their roadmap, also trying to do the same, validating our strategy that more cores and more threads matter. They matter because you're able to do way more than you could in just the recent months and years. So I hope that gives you a bit of a better understanding. I'm going to expand on this a little bit further later, but I have to emphasize these other pillars just for a moment here. We have reached the point where security is actually the most important care about for a lot of the folks we talk to. Some of them tell me this is more important than even the performance or productivity capabilities you can deliver. Talk to me about what you're doing to innovate in the security area. So really, the main thing I want to inform you of is we've actually engineered now a new form of innovation in security. We're excited to announce that we've now taken the AMD Secure processor and innovated to where it's integrated fully in every Ryzen PRO CPU. So it basically is now a separate coprocessor devoted to security and taking security really to the next level for PCs. We like to refer to this as hardware-based security. We're enabling hardware-based root of trust. And many of our partners are immediately able to take advantage of this kind of secure world that we've integrated into our CPUs. Just picture this secure world with walls around this protecting secure functions, secure data, things of that nature. HP, just to give you one example, has now offered a new security solution known as HP SureStart. In the past, what HP and AMD understood was that there's vulnerabilities in the secure boot process for a lot of our customers. You have to execute millions of lines of code before you ever even boot to the operating system. And modern malware was able to penetrate that and hide. And frankly, it became a massive issue. We heard about a lot of data breaches and things of that nature. We've now partnered with HP to offer BIOS intrusion detection, firmware intrusion detection, and a much more secure boot process thanks to the AMD Secure processor and this new hardware-based security. I think the important thing is once you are booted to the OS, AMD has enabled all of the latest security features from Windows 10. A lot of the customers in the Australia market are shifting to Windows 10 now because of these new security features. So whether it's data security, identity security, or device security, all those new features have been enabled by AMD. So when you take a step back, we have really taken PC security to the next level. And I can't emphasize enough how important this is for the end users in the market today to be able to leverage this kind of innovation, whether it's firmware-based TPM 2.0, enterprise, data security, device guard, credential guard, Windows Hello, 128-bit AES, every aspect of security you can think of AMD's invested in and innovated in. The last pillar here, just to briefly touch on this, still very important, that's reliability. AMD works very close with our partners to offer 18-month image stability, 24-month processor longevity, 36-month warranty to our partners. We offer out-of-band dash manageability. We offer commercial-grade quality. This overall is not only a reliable solution, this is a no-compromise alternative to Intel vPro. Our customers can now, with confidence, know they can get anything they could from vPro, and in some cases, even better solutions from AMD and our partners. We're very confident in what we've delivered here. This is a very reliable product. I want to transition here for a moment. What does this product mean? What does this competition mean for the market today? And this is a conversation we were just having here a moment ago at the table, but I think it's fairly obvious what it means. What we're showing you here are publicly announced price points from our competition, and we've shown you on a kind of on a time scale what the reaction was from our competition. When we launched Ryzen 7, challenging our competition with the very best i7s they could offer in the Q1 2017 timeframe, boom. They basically had to react to that in a very aggressive way with basically bringing products out at, let's call it about half the price. That, stating the obvious, is a game changer in terms of the business opportunity that now presents to our customers. This is a breath of fresh air. This is what I mean when we have an inflection point in the market. This is very clear results as to what that means. And this is going to have a pervasive impact for whether it's an enterprise buyer, a government buyer. This competition means everything to them in terms of the business opportunity that they have. We showed you the same thing happen when we launched Threadripper. In fact, many of us were just talking about we feel that Intel may have rushed an i9 reaction to that at, let's call it a little bit more aggressive price, but still, we don't believe quite accomplishing what we've done with Threadripper, certainly offering better price performance than our competition can get to today. The same was true in the server space. We did some research. When we exited the server market, we saw over the next 12 to 18 months, Intel server CPU pricing went up as much as 60%. There's only one beneficiary of that. That's fairly obvious. As AMD gets back into the server space with EPYC, it completely changes the landscape from a business perspective as well. I think that these data points speak volumes as to why this competition matters. And we'd really love for you to help share that so that your readers can understand the opportunity they have in front of them from a business perspective. This also, by the way, helps drive better technology. Competition means Intel will start trying to provide solutions that compete with this. Competition is good. We're now driving that level of competition into the premium space of the client and server markets. I also just wanted to share with you a little bit about our roadmap. I think it's very important to understand where we're going. I'll say this, we're just getting started. I know that we, in some ways, to Jason's earlier point, we set on very ambitious goals, launched a lot. We've tired out the press a little bit with all of the different announcements that we have when you stretch across this portfolio. We're going to continue to do so. I most apologize in advance, but we have a lot of new exciting announcements to come. The one I will touch on here in a moment is Ryzen PRO Mobile. We've announced that that's coming in the first half of next year, and we absolutely anticipate the kind of momentum, the kind of leadership and competitiveness you see in the desktop space will definitely translate to the mobile space as well. So you can see that's coming. That's something to look forward to. We have just recently started to see Ryzen Mobile in the consumer market, seen some new exciting designs that are now, if you walk over to Harvey Norman, you'll start to see exciting new consumer Ryzen Mobile designs. And certainly when you look at the consumer component space, as we start to get into the second half of 2018, you'll actually see the second generation, believe it or not, of Ryzen already hitting the market. So enthusiasts, DIYers are going to be able to take advantage of next generation Ryzen. Just briefly, I think it's very important. This market is very much shifting to mobile. So I wanted to take a moment to emphasize what we're doing there as well. Frankly, I wish I could share more, but I will share some of the key points for you all to understand. A lot of what you've seen with this new Zen architecture is absolutely going to directly apply to the mobile space. We are going to be moving to more cores and threads in this space as well. Up to 4 cores and 8 threads is what we've announced. This is one that I'm very excited about. AMD already holds a graphics lead in the market. I think that is fairly obvious. we're about to expand on that lead again. And the way that we've done that is phenomenal. For the first time, we've been able to take a current generation graphics technology, the new Vega graphics, and integrate it onto the APU. It's never been done before. Typically, the graphics integration trails by a generation. And so all the visual computing, all the graphics-oriented computing that's going on in the market today will immediately be able to take advantage of mobile APUs with the current generation graphics available in that time frame. So up to 10 graphics cores, Vega GPU. You saw some of the workloads and usage continues to be more and more graphics oriented. This is a game changer for us in the mobile space and will allow us to expand on our lead. We could talk about this more. There's a lot of new power features, a lot of new dynamic, intelligent features that we've integrated into SenseMI. The battery life is going to be significantly better. We've actually now caught our competition on the process technology. I don't know if everyone realized that, but that deficit's gone. We're now manufacturing all in the same process, so any potential advantage they have on us there is vanished. So this really for us is perhaps even more exciting to be able to take this new architecture, all this new innovation, and bring it to the mobile space again in the first half of next year. It's an area that we'd love to follow up on when we can release a little bit more information on that. Now, of course, I'm getting close to finishing up here, but I have to mention EPYC. I think that EPYC in the server data center space is truly the most meaningful new innovation the company has delivered. And we're now in the 2-socket space, in the meat of the market, delivering 32-core, 64-thread products. We've shown we now have leadership in delivering more PCIe 3.0 lanes. The memory capabilities are very compelling. All of this security is actually even better. We're now offering memory encryption, secure VMs. This is a very innovative, secure solution, just like you heard about for the server space as well. And again, more adoption from folks like HP and Dell. And we'd love to talk to you about some of those specific 2P designs available on EPYC. As we move into the next year, we are going to dramatically impact the server landscape with this particular product. One that actually is even more disruptive is this 1P design. This is perhaps what our partners are even more excited about for 2 reasons. The first reason is because of the new architecture and everything we've done, we're actually able, with the 1P design, able to outperform 2P designs in the market today. Secondly, that matters because, I hope I'm stating the obvious here, you're able to dramatically reduce the TCO and the power. Imagine being able to take a 1P design, replace your existing 2P designs with better performance, and dramatically reduce your budget. This is an ROI story, it's a TCO story here, and this is one that our partners are excited to release to the market. Again, this will dramatically impact the landscape as well in both a business and technology perspective. Finally, and this is one that we were just talking about a moment ago, one of the most important messages that we have for you here today, and we would invite you to help us communicate to the market, is AMD is here to stay. We have a roadmap that we've announced that will allow us to sustain the kind of competitiveness and leadership I just showed you. In fact, we're already working on our 7-nanometer designs. We have leapfrogging design engineering teams. Lisa Su and our company is committed to bringing more and more competition to this space. Again, with that theme in mind, we will continue to improve the business aspects, the technology aspects, and bringing it back to the types of workloads and usage that are in the market today. This is a roadmap that will allow us to sustain that, and one that we're very, very excited about. So in the future, you can expect to see more of this. We'd love to continue this conversation with you. I'll be here along with Jason and the team to answer any other questions that you might have. But I do, again, want to thank you very much. Again, this is the inflection point. This is a new era for AMD, and for our partners in the press, we'd love for you to help share what you've heard here today. And thank you again very much for coming. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so thanks Jim, John and Jason. There's lots of J's there. But I didn't introduce myself at the start, but I'm Gareth. I look after PR for AMD for the region. We're just going to have some Q&A now, but just while we're waiting for main course to be served. We have about 10 minutes before main course. So if you have any questions for John or Jason, maybe particularly relating back to the sort of challenges that you see and the workloads that you see that your readers are interested in, we can open up the floor for some questions.
How soon before you convince Apple to start launching some of these units? So my MacBook can have 8 threads, and my 13-inch MacBook can have a more powerful processor. You've got to convince them of that.
You couldn't really comment on their future decisions. I could tell you that we are actually the exclusive partner for theirs on the discrete graphics side. So where Apple has chosen to provide discrete graphics today, it's 100% Radeon.
I did notice the logo in the bottom left.
Yeah, and that's why we have shown that logo, and that's a powerful statement about our capabilities in the graphics space of the market, in that discrete graphics space in the market. As to their future decisions, we'll have to see. But we're certainly excited to try and build on the existing partnership we have with Apple. Good question. Yes, sir.
The sorts of performance improvements you're talking about prove that Moore's law is still alive, still valid, but you're getting down to, what did you say, 7 nanometers?
7 nanometers.
You're getting pretty small. When are we going to, I ask this every time I'm in a chip presentation, when are we going to run up against physical barriers that mean that laws of Moore will no longer be valid? And what sort of long-term views have you got, or what sort of technology are you looking at beyond the current silicon chip technology that might enable you to keep moving ahead in terms of performance?
Yeah, that is absolutely the right question in terms of how far can we take this, and what I can tell you is this current vision that we have, the line of sight through the year 2020, we know we can continue it. I think going a little bit beyond that, that'd probably be a conversation for our CTO. But when you just look at the near to midterm, there's no slowing down here. We still absolutely believe that we can continue to do what we're doing today, which is disruptive levels of performance and power. And so I think there's a lot of discussions that you get into Moore's law, and can you continue to do what we're doing today? The answer is in the near future, yes, we can. As to the long term, I think there would be a deeper discussion for our engineering team. So we can't really speak to the roadmap beyond that, sir. But the future, the near to midterm future is very bright.
You must have a bit of an internal skunkworks or think tank though, looking at over the horizon.
No question we do. That gets into an area where I couldn't really comment on anything beyond that on our roadmap. But what we are trying to show you, I hope you can appreciate it, is we've gone pretty far out, showing that we have follow-ons, and so hopefully that builds confidence that AMD over the next, call it, 3-4 years, has a plan to sustain this.
And again, you're not going to be able to give too much detail, but with Ryzen 2, for example, do you think we're going to see even more cores in the same sort of size package?
Yeah, we have not released any more information about the core and thread count at this point in time. So can't elaborate on that one yet.
Are you shrinking these processors down for use in IoT devices? I mean, obviously a desktop processor is too powerful for that, but I know Intel worked on some of that stuff and they abandoned some of the efforts in that space.
And that says a lot, by the way. But no, at this point in time, when we look at our core areas of focus as a company, IoT is not one of them. I think that we want to continue to focus on the server space, the client space, also our semi-custom business that we have today, which covers the consoles, things of that nature. I think that, as you heard from Jason, we believe that that's going to get us back on a path of profitability, and so we want to be careful to really do what we do very well, focus on those core tenets, and then you'll have to see if that spans further. But that's what you can expect from AMD over the next few years.
Any tablet designs in the offing? I know
Yes.
you've got laptops and the servers and these gaming machines, but tablets is also still a...
Yeah, I think what you're seeing from AMD right now is you're seeing some growth in the 2-in-1 space. Of course, some of these 2-in-1s will double as a tablet. We just recently announced some based on Ryzen, in fact, a new exciting HP 2-in-1 design offering Ryzen, where it's very much delivering, if you want a tablet type of experience, you're able to get that. There's other examples of those out there. I think that's an area we will continue to look at. But in terms of true tablet designs, it's not a huge area of focus for AMD today.
Partner-wise, you've got some impressive partners coming on. Obviously, you can't say who more are, but I mean, what sort of numbers are in the wings? How long do you think that rollout will be with some other partners in the market?
Yeah, that is a really great question. Of course, I can't announce our partners' future designs, but what I can tell you is that the roadmap I showed you, we believe that we can continue the momentum we have and sustain this kind of partnership that you see. And again, coming back to it, this is the first time we've ever had all 4 major OEMs with us at a launch. We certainly anticipate that kind of partnership to continue. Could get into any specifics, but I think that it speaks volumes when our partners really on a record level are supporting AMD. So looking forward, you can expect that to continue.
You had some impressive partners at the Computex launch up there with your CEO as well. So
I should maybe mention on the component side, you saw some of it in the video, more support from the motherboard partners for the channel, for the component enthusiasts out there. There's just so much choice, and it's basically everybody was jumping in to offer infrastructure support at record levels. So whether it's the component space, what you're seeing now in the desktop space, server space, we anticipate that to continue. Yeah.
So how long until 50% of the machines in retail are AMD? Again.
Here?
I mean, you're on the way at least.
I would say this, we actually have seen 50% share in certain pockets. We did a little bit of research in some of the primary retailers in the market today. We did actually see certain periods of time where AMD did get to majority market share, which is, let's call that an exciting data point, if not a leading indicator of what we're capable of doing. For this market, I would proxy to someone else as to.
Yeah, I don't think we can
we'd love
comment
it
too
that
much
way.
on
Put more
market
pressure
share.
on my shoulders, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll make it happen.
And then we're going to see AMD in a Surface.
All I can say there is, we're ongoing conversations with Microsoft, and we believe we have the kind of capabilities there. But we certainly couldn't disclose anything there. You guys are asking all the fun questions that I can't answer, and I appreciate that. Yeah.
Making you dance.
No, I would just say, back to the Microsoft partnership, it is exciting to see what we're doing with Xbox One, Xbox One S now that's been recently launched, and It's an example of how we're certainly expanding with Microsoft. I can tell you that Microsoft's very excited about Ryzen technology. They're very excited about EPYC technology. And I think that it's a fair statement to say we have a tighter collaboration partnership with Microsoft than we've had. But as to future designs, as much as I'd love to comment on that, I can't. Do you want to add anything?
Well, I would just say that, you know, Microsoft Azure was with us for
Yeah.
the EPYC announcement
Yeah,
on stage as well, with already some, you know, some EPYC designs and comments on performance that they, you know, that exceeded their expectations as well.
Right.
Were their words.
Yes.
What's the internal feel with AMD at the moment over the last 12 months? You know, sort of must be pleasing to see the product releasing and having a product that's competing.
Yeah.
Morale is high.
Yeah.
Morale's very high. I mean, you saw that. I mean, Jason showed it, but our shareholders are pretty happy. We are the single best performing technology stock in all of 2016, and I mean, we think that we have a bright future where, you know, they can expect to see some success. But yeah, having been at the company for 15 years, I can say this is easily one of the most exciting times, and the morale is outstanding at the moment. You know, we're very, very excited to see a lot of passionate people around the world. And I would add that part of that is because when you go talk to customers, they're so excited about what this means for them. Bringing back that kind of competition feels good, and when you have the press, your shareholders, your customers, your end customers all telling you and congratulating you, that's a morale booster.
And it's nice for us to have all the OEM partners excited with their products as well. So that certainly helps keep our energy level high, and for customers to be very inviting to hear, you know, what this means for them.
Yeah, and while you hear from us the passion and the confidence today, what I would just say is AMD will continue to be a very humble organization. We're going to stay aggressive. We're going to stay passionate, but, you know, humbly speaking, we know we can do a lot more, and we plan to do it.
Are you going to upstage Intel and get to 6 gigahertz before they do, like you did with 1 gigahertz way back in the day?
More fun questions.
I mean, you've got CES coming soon. There must be more announcements.
Could be some surprises at CES, yeah. But there wouldn't be a surprise if
that's it.
I.
Can't mention it. Well, the momentum is clearly there.
Yeah, the momentum's there, and looking forward to 2018. I shared the roadmap. You know, those are the types of things that you can expect to hear more about at upcoming industry events, and so you know, hope to see some of you there and get to talk about some of those, you know, future announcements further. Anything else?
Last chance. Okay, all right. Well, thanks everyone very much for coming. I appreciate your time today. Thanks, John and Jason. If you want to come and chat to them, that's fine. Please do take a look at some of the OEM systems that we have here on display as well to see the support of our partners. So thanks again, and lunch should be served shortly.
Thank you.